In the book of Esther, Esther was a young woman who was suddenly thrust into a Persian palace and found herself face to face with a plot to destroy her people. And she was not sure what she could do about that, if she could do anything at all. It was her uncle Mordecai who said, "Who knows, Esther, but that you've been brought into the kingdom for such a time as this." And Esther was feeling pretty intimidated about the whole thing. She wasn't sure that she was strong enough or good enough or able to make a difference at all. But, well, you know how the story goes. Through a series of twists and turns, she ends up saving her people from a Holocaust. And part of the lesson from Esther is that you should never underestimate what God can accomplish through your life. From time to time, people struggle with feelings of self-doubt and inferiority. Sheryl Sandberg, who was the vice president of Google and the chief operating officer for Facebook, Meta, she was one of the most powerful executives in the country. But Sheryl Sandberg wrote several years ago, every time I was called on in class, I was sure that I was about to embarrass myself. Every time I took a test, I was sure that it had gone badly. And every time that I didn't embarrass myself or it had exceeded, I believed that I had fooled everyone yet again. One of the most consistently successful actors in Hollywood is Tom Hanks. But Tom Hanks said in 2018 in an interview that he has struggled his entire career with self-doubt. Self-doubt, he said, is a high wire act that everyone walks. Oh, you may find yourself struggling with feelings of self-doubt and inferiority, but if you've given your life to Christ, then he's placed his Spirit within you. And it's not so much about how great you are, but how great the one who's come to live inside of you is. I came across a story years ago about Niccolò Paganini, the great violinist. He was giving a concert in Vienna, and he was on stage, and he just gave this masterful show. And at the end of the concert, he took his violin and he pulled a string out, and then he pulled a second and a third until he was left with just one string in his violin. And then he began to play on that one string, and he plays this masterful piece and comes to the end of that song, and he just lifts up his violin and his bow in the air, and he says, "One string," and Paganini, and the whole crowd erupted to their feet and gave him a standing ovation. And why did the crowd react that way? Not because of how great the violin was. It wasn't about the instrument. It was about what could be accomplished when that poor instrument was placed in the hands of the master.